and including some of the direct messages to say that, you will be caught, you will...
Don't resuscitate. Right, okay, thought so. In England, still going on, isn't it? Apparently, performance policies in NHS Foundation trusts, integrated healthcare policies within NHS. Used to be, it's called integrated healthcare. Every time the City in England has, it's set up as a business, but everything's paid by NHS England Limited Company, contract commissions per treatment to members of General Medical Council Limited Company. So they get pieces of degree, papers to trade in business as a doctor for prescriptions, right? So what is it for 7 years? The Freemasons love numbers. So last stay in the hospital, September 2018. So what's it, 7 years from 2018 to November 2024, a new company, AI software company in England, Phoenix Partnership Limited. So data protection concerns, I raised my ever since the end of that year, right up to June 2025, was delivered to the local area as a company, medical practice, but it's actually a limited company. Dun&Bradstreet.co.uk, you can find these things out. It's a website of company information. So the failures, I made some notes. National Clinical Pharmaceuticology, I've worded it correctly, policies, the medical diagnosis from 2020 for 2025. That's 25 years, isn't it? So up until last time I was in hospital, so knock off years of that, like 2018. It's a long time, isn't it? So I've been on these medications by those former diagnoses, thyroxine, underactive thyroid, post-traumatic stress disorder from effects of a tort in 2002, another effects of 2010, getting run over 2009, physically reducing my health with spinal injuries and etc. So I put on medication for the evidence of that. So I was fully aware of the manufacturers, the medical pharmaceutical companies and the manufacturer guidance policies and their leaflets, and I've always been checking them regularly. Many change on me, which is always used to be, well, up until they stopped medications. And I made that clear. I'm fully competent and coherently aware of the requirement to report any kind of adverse effects, so to speak, worded it carefully in my last lot of documents. Not one response. It said the AI produced documents, letters, threats. The last was a major threat. Yeah, ego. And they don't care that by their decision, specific decision, based on what foundation, by the GMC Medical Council Limited Company, its member. Key is a Freemason, because it's not 7 years, isn't it? Freemasonry are involved, is demonic Illuminati, etc., by beholding this. Now, I've been doing natural health in powder form, organically, safely. We're building up towards this period we're in now. So stopping these years of the medications, and there's iron tablets as well. So, it's a long list. I've been anemic all my life as well. So I've learned how to adjust. Now, making a specific decision on the GMC Council's website, this YouTube channel, he explains. One, about don't resuscitate. Still on medical records. And they're not feeding people in hospitals still. And I'll come across it by chance today, 20th night, 2025. This is a TikTok channel. So can't go through it all because there's a lot of videos, I think. But I come across it by chance.
Yes, you will doubt for the wrong statements you're making. Listen, my answer to you guys is, and I'm now referring to you doctors, okay? You continue to, from now on.
There's a lot more videos soon.
Everybody who's watching my videos, I'm requesting all of you to make sure when you do go into hospital, look around the ward. When you see vulnerable people, if you want to do something good for the society, walk up to them one by one over various days and just ask them quietly, do they understand what DNR is? Has anybody asked them to sign anything?
And this is what come across as well.
If you're a medical student, law student, business student looking for an... I took myself off the UK medical register. I should have done this years ago. For the last 4 years, I kept renewing it, just in case I ever go back. But this year I got the email and thought, £166? For what? I love my life in Australia. I'm marrying an Aussie. I don't need a backup plan anymore. So this is it. Goodbye, UK. If I'm back, it will be to say hi to my parents and never step foot in an NHS hospital again, thank God. The only thing I'll miss is the £4 Tesco. I took myself off the UK medical register. I should have done this.
Okay.
Hi guys, do trust you're well. You need to watch this video because I promised it for you. This is a video that I guarantee 10 out of 10 of you will need to remember, because you will go across some of these kind of issues in your own personal life, whether through your loved ones or yourself or others. Okay, about 5 weeks ago, my mum ended up in hospital, as you would have seen, and a lot of you who follow me know very well, because of lack of eating, very weak, not being able to keep conscious. She was taken into A&E. From there she was transferred to another ward called AMU, and then she ended up in a ward called Homewood ward, okay, of the Surrey Hospital. Now in that particular ward, nothing seemed right. Absolutely nothing seemed right, because when I went into that particular hospital, when I was made a video once of my mum eating, and when I was trying to tell you guys that you must feed your loved ones, they had a particular problem. The doctor called me the next day and said, you need to take that video off. You need to take that video off. And he kept saying it so many times repeatedly that it almost sounded like, they had some kind of a guilty conscience. Me feeding my mum. I wasn't making video of other people or anything. I was making video of my mum eating. They had a serious problem with that. Okay. And that is at Homewood Ward. I will keep repeating the name so you don't mistake. Now, fast forward another week. One day I turned up to see my mum. What do I find? The moment I walked in, I saw her apparently looked as if she was sleeping. I walked up to her, mum, few times, stroke her hair, stroke her face, no response. I turned around to this Afro-Caribbean lady and I said, look, my mum's not awake, something is wrong, okay? She said, no, she's sleeping. I said, I know my mother more than you. She's not sleeping. There's something wrong. She went and said, okay, I've asked the duty nurse to come and see her, and he's busy. He'll come in a few minutes. 10 minutes gone. Nobody turns up. 10 minutes later, I went and saw the guy was sitting on a PC.
Oh, God.
I don't know whether he was doing rotas or whatever, but he just couldn't be bothered. I said, I don't know if you're aware, my mum's unconscious. I need someone to come. He just went like this, literally. Yes, I'm coming. Give me a few minutes. This is the behavior of someone in a hospital ward when you tell them someone's unconscious and they just wave their arm and say, yes, I'm coming. Wasn't rude, but just politely, yes, I'm coming. Another 10 minutes gone, 20 minutes. Okay. Then I raised my voice. I didn't want to tell him who I am, my background of the NHS and how senior I was. I just literally left it at, you need to pay attention right now, get yourself here, because my mother has been unconscious for 20 minutes. And then he said, yes, I'm coming. Meanwhile, the Afro-Caribbean lady, the junior nurse, I assume, finally, when she heard I was getting angry, she came up to my mum, looked at her closely. The next thing was, look at me. This is her reaction. Bang. Red button behind her on the wall to call the paramedics in urgent emergency. Then she reacted when I raised my voice, and she realized that I was right all along, that my mum was unconscious. And then all of a sudden, within minutes, there were all these paramedics, doctors, everybody running from everywhere, came to my mum, curtains closed. There was this another lady within the ward. I think she was therapy or something. She took me in a corner, said, have a cup of tea, relax, sit down, we're dealing with your mum, blah, blah, blah. I got angry. I said to her, I'm going upstairs. I'm going to go through the corridor at the back to the meetings rooms upstairs. And that's when she spooked. She goes, why are you going elsewhere? I said, I need to call my colleagues about what's happened. What do you mean by that? I said, I'll talk to you later. She went off. Within minutes, this doctor appeared, quite a senior looking lady, English. She appeared out of the blue. Where are you going? I'm going to be with the doctor. I'm going to be in the headquarter meetings rooms at the end. And when you need me, you need to call me from there. And that's what spooked her. From then onwards, instead of talking about what's wrong with my mum or telling me what the hell had happened to my mum, she was more concerned about, who are you? What do you do? You mentioned a doctor's name. Who's that doctor? Or is he a doctor? Where is he based? What's it about? And then started later on saying to me, give me their email. I will tell them what is wrong. I said, forget about everybody else. You need to be telling me what's wrong with my mum. Why do you need to be telling others? When you just got spooked about, who I am, what I do, all of a sudden, you want to know exactly what I do, what this other individual is, etc. Because I told her, this will be escalated. 20 minutes, my mum was lying there. 20 minutes, I kept telling the nurse that mum's unconscious and they couldn't be asked to come and have a look. And that is knowing fully well that you're in a hospital. And that is how this Afro-Caribbean lady behaved and the English nurse in charge behaved. I think his name was Jay. I forget the name. I'm not going to mention, but I know him. But anyway, afterwards, the doctor took me in a room. There was another junior young Asian doctor who was standing by the wall. I could tell she was extremely new, probably very, very young, standing against the wall. There was also the nurse, and the first thing they said, now listen to this, the first thing they said is, what did you give her that made her choke?
Good gracious.
I stayed calm. I looked at her. I said, why? What did you, when she choked, what came out? And I looked at all three of them. Blank look. Nothing came out of her mouth. They were trying to cover up. The doctor had planned to cover up. The doctor in Homewood ward that night was trying to cover up for the nurse and anybody else there. I turned around to her. I said, right, there were a number of people there. Can you bring anybody in front who saw anything come out of her mouth? Because you say she choked on food. There must be something that came out. They all went quiet. They had a blank look. I said, I don't think you realize who I am, do you? She said, no, who are you? I said, by now you should have twigged that I'm an internal NHS man. And if you can do this to me, imagine what you do to people who are not part of the NHS. And this woman took offense to that. She kept spending time, tell me the other names, doctor, the other person you knew, the one you mentioned when we were over there. Who is that person? Who are you? What do you do? I said, it does not matter who the fuck I am. It does not matter who that other person is. It's enough for you to know he is senior enough to call your chief exec and tell him that some shit is going on in your hospital. And it's repetitive. And it's across the board. It's not just anywhere. Remember in the past I told you in A&E, somebody balanced a boiling cup of water, a cup of tea between my mother's legs while she was lying there unconscious. This is the kind of stuff that goes on at East Surrey Hospital. And I'm sure it happens in other places as well. So this Homewood ward doctor, obviously, once I had a conversation, I said, look, all I can say is I've spoken to my colleagues at NHS England. One of them's advice is, Shaz, as soon as your mum is somewhat stable, leave. Go back we're going to deal with East Surrey Hospital. And East Surrey guys, I know you're listening to this, you will be dealt with, okay? And especially the Homewood Ward doctor who was in charge for her negligence and her behavior of trying to turn it back on me as if I gave my mum something to choke when they themselves said that nothing came out of her mouth. It wasn't choking, okay? I asked her quite clearly, was it a cardiac arrest? She didn't want to say. But anyway, Dave tried to raise a care concern behind my back. Yesterday, when I phoned my mum to ask, phoned for my mum to ask when she's being released, nurse in error said, "Oh, we're talking to social service, trying to find out the date which you can come home." I stopped her right there. Social service? What social service? It's nothing to do with social service. Why them? Oh, we need to know about the care package. Well, I'm the one who tells you about the care package. Why are you phoning them? And basically, very quickly, I said to her, what is it that you're not telling me? I know you mentioned the word social service. I'm not going to let this go. I'm now going to call my guys at NHS England. They will call chief exec if necessary, and we're going to find out what happens. And I escalated things to such an extent that care people, other safeguarding people got involved. And finally, this lovely girl called Rosie helped me get my mum back home tonight. And this is the way these people try holding you back. If you find a mistake, they're going to try raising a care concern and take your loved one away. But anyway, IIU, the last department was lovely. I mean, finally she was kept in a good department. God bless them. I just thought I'd share this with you guys. Time is short, okay? Take care. Remember, don't forget.
So, if you want to know more,
Bye-bye.
this is on. This post
Hi guys, do trust you're well.
TikTok.
You need to watch this video because I promised it for you. This is a video that I guarantee 10 out of 10 of you.
So that is back in 2024, 2025 now. Imagine what they're doing now. And this is a saga. Beware.